To the person in your life, you could be anything from a great friend, an excellent lover, maybe the financial advisor, or just somebody that they speak to about all the things that they can't tell anybody else. They are naughty little secrets. But are you that person that can also be the person that rolls their mind? The person that can communicate with them with just your eyes, no words at all. We're talking about subliminal communication today on Love Lounge. We'll be right back after this. Welcome to Love Lounge this week. First up, our guest is Iceberg Slim. I knew he was going to do that.
Thank you guys. Thank you. I love you right there. I love you. Thank you guys.
We're having a very mature conversation, and I just felt he was the perfect person to have this with, right? And also, we're going to be delving into the relationship side of things, and so we had to invite Uche to come on this week and talk to us because she's our relationship advisor. How are you doing, Uche?
I'm doing well.
So we're talking about subliminal communication in relationships, and I mean that in terms of the extracurricular activity that you have to put in to make your relationship work. You know, if you want to have sex with your partner, they don't just arrive and you're like, you have to take your clothes off. Sometimes you have to send them messages in a day like, hey, what are you wearing? And then she'll reply, the white pants you pulled from the cupboard. What are you asking? You already know what I'm wearing. But how do you keep communication in your relationship, Uche, when you're trying to make sure that all your pleasure senses are tickled all at once?
I think I personally am a person that needs to be in communication all day, every day. So whether that's text, email, Skype, whatever the case may be, especially if you're trying to set the mood for later, you can't just say, take off your clothes at the end of the day, although sometimes that works. But in general, you'd want to make sure the person's having a good day. So the only way you know that is if you've been in communication. Now, if you wanted to get a little bit risque, you could say, send me a picture, or you look hot, or whatever the case may be. Flirtation, even in a relationship, is very necessary, however you want to get that done.
Do you agree, Iceberg?
Yes, I definitely agree. A lot can be said that's not said.
Yes.
Maybe through the eyes, maybe sounds you make, texting, sexting, those kind of things can actually.
But is it still safe to sext these days when, people's email accounts are hacked all over the place?
Telegram.
Wow.
Telegram, really?
Yes.
So I should really just take
Telegram.
my picture all naked and Telegram it because it won't go away in the post?
Maybe even a messenger pigeon.
You could do that in a bottle.
Exactly.
You could do that.
No, there are apps right now that will, disappear
tell
a
us
picture.
about those
No, I'm serious. There are apps right now.
Isn't
you
that
can
how
send a picture.
Snapchat started? And then
It
it
is.
evolved
Yeah,
into a
exactly.
commercial.
It
It was
has
the
to be
app
one
to
of those
send
apps.
dick pics.
Snapchat,
Wow.
Yeah.
So why can't you
straight to the
Snapchat?
point. Yeah. Okay.
You get it.
That's how it started.
So it doesn't need to, you don't have to worry about it getting hacked. But yeah, I think sexting is hard.
My question for you, Uche, is if you're someone who's silent in bed and you're happy to get rogered however way you will be rogered, but you don't necessarily want to be like, oh, you're nasty, spit on me, and you don't want to say those things, but your partner wants to hear it. How do you turn a silent partner into a more vocal?
I mean, sometimes you need to ease them into it. Sometimes it's whisper to them and encourage them to answer.
Nasty.
Yeah.
Yes. Whispering, I think, works. I think also sometimes they're not going to say anything. Sometimes use your hands creatively. Move something, move them, move yourself, whatever the case may be. But I think if you want to really get someone talking during sex, you have to start talking to them. Ease them into it. I think there's no one that won't respond to a whisper.
No, but some people will moan.
Yes, moaning
Or grunt.
Yeah.
Or, but they might not necessarily, if you want proper dirty sex, they might just never be able to come out with it. So in that situation, Iceberg, what do you do?
For me, I tend to actually just bring it up in casual conversation another time. So it's kind of like I first of all ask you, what do you like? During those times, And obviously, you're gonna ask me, what do I like? So I use that opportunity to just tell you all those things that were going through my head.
Talk dirty
like, you
to
know,
me.
exactly. I would like if it would be nice, or it would turn me on if you blah blah blah, and you actually get that across. And
then what if you've done that and it still doesn't work? What if this person just literally cannot do that because Pastor told me is the devil's work to say things like that?
You know, a lot of us have a lot of unlearning to do and getting more comfortable with our sexuality and how we express ourselves sexually. So I think if it's your partner and it's a long-term thing, you just have to keep talking to them. I think eventually, you know, if you think about the sexual animal that you are now, it's not the person you were. It's not the animal you were 5 years ago, 10 years ago. At least I hope so. You know, I think as you get more comfortable, as you get more comfortable with yourself and your partner, you are definitely more open to exploring. So maybe sometimes it's not just asking for sex. Maybe sometimes it's making sure that your partner knows that you 100% they can trust you 100%. And they can let their guards down.
I remember watching one of these stand-up, I think it might have been Chris Rock, when he said, you know, a guy who asks his partner, can you give me head, will never get it, because just the way you're asking is ridiculous. Whereas you should just take the moment, seize the head, and do what needs to be done. But then there's some guys who believe you have to respect the woman, and, you know, you can't just be shoving her around willy-nilly in the bedroom. There's a lot of phrasing in there
you kind
somewhere.
of have to.
How do you ask for head
I
without
hate to
asking for
sound
head?
so personal, but it's kind of like you find a position that you kind of put her in where it's kind of like in her face like this. So it's kind of like what you know, or you kind of maybe,
you know why we're here.
Exactly, or you initiate 69 and things like that. That kind of obviously puts her in that position where she knows.
Is 69 the only position where you can land and the penis will literally land near the woman's face? I think it is.
Yeah.
Well, conventional position.
I mean,
Yeah,
teabagging and stuff like. But I mean, we're not going to go into that.
But any of the, because otherwise, if you're having missionary or whatever other position it is, you can't reach. So you still would have to say, "Darling, oh yeah, this is great," but you know,
there's nothing wrong with asking for head directly. I mean, don't be. Hi, can I please get some fellatio? No, you wouldn't do that.
But if you don't want to ask
fellatio.
directly, because like we're talking about subliminal conversation, communication right now, so you want. If bringing it up and be like, oh, can you give me head? You want it sexy. You want it to be sexy. You want it to feel
organic and natural.
So how do you
69?
You know, Jedi mind trick her into.
You can do
like you just kind of like.
I mean, I think that's valid too.
It's a bit cold in here, don't you think? I mean,
I need to sleep.
I mean,
can I get your breath of life?
Yes.
No? I think sometimes like talk with your eyes. Maybe some motioning. Maybe not grab the head and push it down.
Okay.
Maybe just gently guide it towards. And if it keeps going away, keep guiding it back in that.
You actually
direction.
can actually just grab the head and kind of just
slowly shove
it. And she'll probably start kissing your chest and everything. And
then
she
hopefully
knows.
But then what if she doesn't want to do it and she's moving her head up? Do you just
auntie.
do you start
don't fight? I don't think anything's by force. You know?
I mean, but when you get to that point, then
now.
you know that obviously she doesn't want to do
Yes.
it. So I mean, that's something you have to live with.
Okay, now what if you have a partner that talks too much?
Oh Lord. I think maybe I probably might fall into this.
Okay, thank you very much, Rita Nwigwe, who sent a message on Facebook that says, please, all this talk about having orgasms together is hogwash. Guys, every time a girl does it, she is faking the whole orgasm. Don't fall for it. It only happens in movies.
No, you know.
She's a sadist.
No, I think I don't think it's always faked. I think sometimes you're really that much in tune or you're that lucky. Sometimes timing happens like that. And again, I keep saying it's up to the guy to time it because maybe he's paying attention to her breath. It's changed. So
how much control over the timing of your orgasm and orgasm itself does breathing have to do with it?
I think breathing is everything.
Can you make yourself come just by exercising the, time, breathing a certain way? Can you do that? Maybe not just walking down the road. Go.
That's
like, hey, no. But like during sex, can you get yourself to breathe a certain way and then, zone yourself to think about certain muscles and then maybe come?
No, I think breathing does have a lot to do with your orgasms, but I don't think you can control it. At least for me, I don't. And maybe I should try. next time, whenever that is. But maybe I should try to control it. But I don't think that it does. I think it's a natural reaction. Like you just get shorter breath the closer you get to climax. So it's a good cue for someone else to know what's happening. But start shorting my breath, I think I'd give myself like a headache. Yeah.
Now, we're sticking with this whole idea of being able to speak without using your entire mouth to talk. When your partner has a certain offensive body odor, mouth, breath, whatever it is,
It's not going to happen.
how do you tell them without telling them whilst you're having sex and be like, I like this, but I don't like this? Iceberg.
That's deep.
Keep squeezing your face.
No,
They might just think that's your cum
exactly,
face.
that's your. They think it's your cum face.
No, it's not. I'm sorry.
Naturally, I don't think you can actually tell someone. For me, it's actually just a turn off. So I would actually be turned off. And if you read my body language, you'll know that something is up. You won't necessarily know it's maybe your mouth odor or your body odor or whatever the case, or your genital odor. But you'll know something is up, that my mind is not there. You'll probably ask, what's up, what's wrong? And I'll definitely tell you, oh, nothing. I'm just maybe...
Yeah, but that's not good, though. That's
it's not good.
helpful.
But then again, as I say, you can bring these things up next time in conversation. And if sex is being initiated, like, oh, let's shower first.
Yes, but
Let's
why
brush our teeth
why
first.
not stop that session and say, let's have a shower, let's start over again?
Because
And
you'd
then
be like, why?
Let's have sex in the shower.
Yeah.
Okay, that could work.
That's, you
Done
got it.
that.
So you don't have to miss out on a session. I mean, what if you've been in traffic all day and...
Many of girls are wondering right now, oh, is that why he never called me again? We were supposed to have a date. You've been outed. You are welcome.
Feedback is necessary. Otherwise, you won't know where you're getting it wrong or
But I
right.
think if you give that feedback then and there, it's kind of like...
See, but sometimes you
They'll
can...
take it personal. They'll be hurt by, like...
But
Imagine
you can't
yourself.
help but
Imagine
hurt.
if it's you.
Yes.
Because we're thinking like, okay, we're telling our partner, but imagine if it's you. If he's telling you like, oh, babe, you know, you kind of smell down there right now. Like,
I think that's always very sensitive
Yeah.
when you're
exactly.
talking about
So then
people's-
that's why it's
But-
kind of hard to address it then and there.
No, but that's what I'm saying. That you can address it without saying those exact words. You can say, "Babe, let's have a shower together.
Okay, but
Let me give you a
tomorrow,
bath. Let me wash your."
Okay, tomorrow it will happen again. And
Pretend
are you gonna
like-
keep saying, let's take a shower together? You're gonna be like,
Okay, if it's
Okay,
a
I'm going to say
continuous
something now
pro-
which might make you, I just know immediately is going to make you cringe. But I find that when it comes to heterosexual sex, we're not as honest as we should be. And when it comes to our hygiene in heterosexual sexual relationships, we actually don't really do all the things that we probably should. We take it for granted. Whereas I have friends that are homosexual and they have rules about this. So there are certain
exactly,
things
yeah.
they won't eat a few hours before they know they're about to have sex for sure. And then even before they have sex, there's a way they clean their orifices, you know, and it's, for them, it's about being considerate to the person you're about to have sex with. Again, that's also because they're having a lot of anal sex and, you know, you want to make sure you're not, you know, mixing your
coli.
truffle butter with, you know, other things. However, surely that level of conversation that homosexuals have because they want to have sex should be brought into conversations with heterosexuals. I should be comfortable telling you as my sexual partner that I really like doing XYZ with you, but I can't do it because your armpits sometimes stinks. So 30 minutes before we have sex, please shower, rub yourself down with lime or whatever it is. Why is that conversation not as open and honest in heterosexual relationships?
I think we've just grown up with, especially in this society, we've grown up with a lot of hang-ups. We've been taught a lot of things. You're not taught to be open about talking about sex. It's bad. It's taboo. It means you're bad and you're overexposed. You know, you're not marriage material, sort of thing. But I keep telling people, when people ask me different questions, why would you be intimate with someone you can't have this conversation with? You can allow them inside of you, but you can't tell them that, hey, you stink, like go have a shower. It doesn't make sense to me. I think a lot of us really need to evaluate the kind of relationships that we're getting into. If you do not trust that the person or trust the person's reaction, why are you getting into super, like you're sharing yourself, your body, your essence with this person? So why can't you have a simple conversation? I think sometimes it's just, damn it, and just have it. And you'll be surprised that the person's been waiting for you, you know? What if they've been dirty on purpose, you know? What if that's it?
Why would you?
Just to teach you.
Why would you
People
get
are
dirty on
really
purpose?
twisted. I'm just saying, like, what if that's their thing? Like, I don't know.
Right.
I know people are different, but
Really,
like
you go to the bathroom and you're like,
Like-
I could wash my ass right now,
but
but,
I'm not.
I
I'm not
won't.
going
But
to.
I'm not.
because she never said anything. I'm gonna teach her a lesson. You know, like what if it's that? You know, but like sometimes you just need to get comfortable. You have to get comfortable. It's not easy getting comfortable, but it has to be done. But, and that's nothing. You can't be subliminal about it. You have to be direct.
I understand your standpoint, and
Yeah.
I think you're coming from a standpoint of a relationship.
Yeah.
But
Are you thinking
What-
one night stand now?
exactly, how do you control that? I think it's generally people just, it's a neglect. Like the people who don't wear, like they don't, it's not because they choose not to, it's just because they don't care.
And sometimes, I'm sorry, it is again hot and humid in Nigeria.
Yes.
They don't smell
It's
it.
tests your. I as a human being in this town, I use antiperspirant and deodorant
Yeah,
and
yes.
another layer or something. Like I literally walk out
body
with 4
spray.
layers of
Yeah.
sprays and rolls and everything
And
on
that's
me.
because you're conscious of
And
it.
by 4 hours into my day, I'm
You
like,
are-
whew, I feel like I haven't showered. So I don't think sometimes people deliberately neglect. I
Yeah.
just feel like we are human beings. We sweat, we perspire, and our environment can smell funky. So you will smell funky. So in
Yes.
general, I think we just need to be able to look after our bodies
Hygiene.
a bit better and communicate. Again, do it, say it
Yeah.
without words. Thank you very much for watching Love Lounge this week. I hope that we helped you on some level. If you have any questions that we didn't tackle today, please send your messages to Twitter, Facebook. We're also on YouTube. Look for us. In the meantime, we'll be back next week.